Hi, welcome to part 2 of today's video of the Target Individual Program. Now, earlier I discussed mind control language pattern and dark NLP and what they do. And I said that that I'm going to show you guys the gradual increase in targeting as the week goes by. Coming to the weekend, it gets very, very intense, and then it tapers off again as the new week begins, right? Until the middle of the next week, then it increases to the weekend, then it intensifies. Okay, so I want to go back to psychologicalharassment.com website. Okay, psychological warfare. 3 top priorities are objective: discredit or destroy the victim credibility, destroying your name, your reputation, your image. This is what they're doing. Your mental stability. Okay, to conceal psychological warfare knowledge and eliminate the victim means of substance or resources. Okay, the use of psychiatry to attack the psychological integrity and credibility of victims, the weapons of degrading theme or pedophilia to use as a threat or to prevent exposure. You hear the sirens in the background? Very faint, but there are fire trucks siren. Okay, the weapon of high level of stress and sleep deprivation, the weapon of homelessness or eliminating a person means of subsistence and financial resources. Okay, when psychiatry attacks the victim's psychological integrity and credibility, it makes the victim more vulnerable to the phenomenon or crime of criminal harassment or psychological warfare, and it also conceals the related knowledge. High level of sleep deprivation can lead to microminerals deficiency and acid-base disorders that can result in serious illnesses and even death. High level of sleep deprivation can also be used to overwhelm the victim's body and lead to cancer. Okay, so that's psychological warfare and what they do to us as targeted individual. Some of the things. Okay, so like I said, my targeting, they'll use the police to target me, and if you look at the first video, you'll see very subtle targeting. Okay, where the police just happen to show up or happen to be where I'm going, right? And as I'm leaving and stuff, they'll drive off and stuff like that. This video, you will see this even more so. Okay, a lot more, because like I said, it in my targeting on coming to the weekend, it intensifies exponentially, and this I will show you. Okay, also let's talk about the psychological tactics and where did they learn this from. Okay, where did they develop these sort of psychological program? Who originated these programs? For me, I believe it was the CIA embedded in the NYPD and other big cities across the United States, particularly during the 80s with the crack epidemic, okay, which we later found out that the US government was responsible for the drug epidemic that was affecting the black community, because they used black people as a source of funding to fund their illegal war in Central America. And this was explained in Gary Webb's book Dark Alliance, in which he was eventually assassinated. He was killed because of what he had uncovered. Same as Michael Hastings. Okay, And so, the CIA involvement in teaching the NYPD psychological operations, psychological tactics, and psychological methods. Okay, like I said, this goes back from the 80s. Okay, so they've been into the police department across America for decades, not just a decade, but for decades. So here's an article from the Brennan's Center for Justice. Okay, and the title is, "What is the CIA teaching the NYPD?" And this talks about the CIA embedded in the NYPD after 9/11, but they've been there way before that. Okay, and so this is nothing new. Okay, and I think if journalists, okay, those who are not afraid. Okay, I had to pause the video because I had a phone call. All right, so anyway, so they've been embedded in the police department across the U.S. for decades now. Okay, this is nothing new, and like I said, any investigative journalist who digs deeper will hopefully find the information. Okay, and so here's another. Okay, and some of the stuff that the NYPD in their secret programs, and I say secret programs because they do have secret programs that we don't know about, until it's discovered, such as the super secret X-ray van, okay, in which they don't want to tell you anything about the use of these vans. They claim national security, just like the CIA, right? And this is a police department. This is not the CIA. This is not the FBI. Okay, this is not the Department of Justice. This is a city police department. Okay, who has run amok, who has no oversight in what it is that they're doing, right? Yet people continue to trust these individuals, the high-ranking officials within the NYPD. Okay, when they are basically using technology, okay, that could potentially cause serious harm to individuals, and they keep it a secret. Okay, what is the city board doing? Okay, these people are acting as if they're the CIA or they're the FBI, and they're not. They're a police department. Okay, but this is what happened when you have an agency who feel that they have the power and the ability to do whatever they want to do. They'll create all kinds of programs. All right, and for a lot of these black police officers, hopefully you guys are listening to this. You guys want to be silent. You guys want to stay on that blue line, but that blue line does not relate to you. Okay? For example, here's an article called "The Black Officers Fight Against the NYPD." Black police officers fight against the NYPD. And here's this guy, police officer, who is trying to do something good. He's black. Started a program called PLOT, right? Preparing Leaders of Tomorrow, offering mentorship service to black teenagers. And the higher ups were probably upset about that. When it comes to black people, when it comes to our kids, okay? These people, when I say these people, I mean white supremacists within the police departments and the government across this country, do not want black men, okay, to succeed. They want to make us all criminals. They want to give us all criminal records, okay? And so it's interesting because if you read this article, and it's from the New York Times, it talks about how he was invited to speak at a conference, okay, in Washington on race and policing in Washington. And when he came back, they retaliated against him. So what does that say? So again, you black police officers, you really need to open your eyes, okay? You want to, let's see what I click here, sorry. Okay, so you want to stay on the blue line, but the blue line doesn't apply to you. Ultimately, it does not apply to you. Okay, and that's why I love KRS, his song Black Cops, because black police officers, you guys have to realize that, you know, following and doing what these white supremacists do to your own people, then you're a traitor. I'm sorry, you are a traitor. Okay, and so here another article, and it says CIA. I'm sorry, New York City police abroad. Okay, here's a map. It shows you which countries that the NYPD has embedded its officers in. Okay, so the name of the article is called Sanction Overseas but Solving Crime in New York City. Again, this is the police department. They're not the CIA. But because the CIA has embedded itself within the New York City Police Department for well over 4 decades, they have equipped the NYPD with equipment, technology, and now the NYPD think of itself as a branch of the CIA, and they can do whatever they want. That's why they can do these sort of psychological programs, that because the CIA created it. Okay? It is ridiculous when you come to think about it. Okay? So here's an article called Where the Russian Mind Control Research Behind Department of Homeland Security Contract. I'm not going to read it, but it's from Wired Magazine from 2007. 2007. That talks about Department of Homeland Security traveling to Moscow to inquire about technology which can read and manipulate people's subconscious mind. Okay? So you guys can read that. Okay, so let's get to the videos, because this is going to be a lengthy video. Hopefully I will try to make it not that long, but you know, we'll see. So the other video, previous video, I was on my way to Pam's work. She was working at an outside clinic, and we were going to go grocery shopping after I picked up. Okay, so she had texted me and she told me to come a little early because the facility was basically empty and they should be finished soon. It's supposed to, she's supposed to leave at 5 o'clock. Okay, and so I got there about, I would say maybe 10 after or 15 minutes after 4 o'clock. So, you know, I waited, right? Okay, what happened? All right, so funny thing is, as I was driving to the outside clinic, I had called, well, she called me, okay? She called me because she had left her phone, and I was bringing her phone to her. So she called me from the facility to find out where I was, and I said to her, "Well, I'm pretty close." And I said to her, "What's the between what two street is the facility at?" And she was like, "Oh, there's a big yellow school bus that's parked in front of it." So as she was saying that, a yellow school bus passed by, and there was a woman on the walking on the sidewalk who as the yellow school bus walked by, I looked over at her, and I was probably being microwaved at that point. And I looked over at her. She took her hands, raised it, looked at her nails like this. Okay, as if like when a woman get her nails done from the nail shop, how they look at their nails. She did exactly that. As I just had finished having the conversation with Pam about, and she told me about the yellow school bus. So this yellow school bus passed by, and this woman on the sidewalk walking, raises her hands and looks at her nail, looks at me, and then walks off. Okay? This is mind control technology at work here. All right? And so, got to the facility, and pulled up. And as soon as I get there, you hear the noise campaign. This is the ambulance. Okay, I had to mute it. Again, don't want to get a copyright strike. Now this is a lot, because I basically waited, me and the kids waited for about an hour and a half, okay? The minute I showed up, okay, within a few minutes, everyone started coming into the clinic. Now, after she told me that the clinic was basically empty and she should be leaving at 5 o'clock, that's the reason why I came early, because she asked me to come early. The minute I get there, then everybody starts showing up. Okay? Then on top of that, I want to try to show you the amount of police vehicle that goes back and forth. I might miss a couple because it's a lot of video, because I've waited, like I said, for an hour and a half, and the camera records in 10-minute interval. So, it's a lot. To 3, like around 2:30. Okay. But it's interesting because on our way here there was a yellow school bus. That's just me explaining about the yellow school bus and stuff like that. But as it passed by. Now it's about 4:10. Okay, so I got that 4:10. There's another siren. Clothes or touching their face. Yeah, I want you to watch and see. Everybody that's going to be walking towards my direction, they'll start playing with their clothes or touching their clothes or touching their face. Yeah, because I already know the tactics. Okay. I'm gonna skip past some of this stuff because I got a lot of video to show. Okay. Alright, so here, I believe this is the first police car you'll see. Okay? Coming in the opposite side of the street. Okay, it's a new video.
Can you hold it for me?
Okay, mine.
Hold it for me.
Let's go back to the beginning.
Sit down. You didn't.
Stop.
Here he goes, touching his nose. Another police car. Another police car.
DJ Envy, join me, Angela Yee, and Charlamagne the God.
Yeah, I'm ready.
See? Look at her come. Looking at me. See what she did? Let's go back. Okay. Again. Get. So as a target, it doesn't matter where you go, which neighborhood you go into. They will have people there targeting you. Okay, whether through the mind control technology, the microwave, or through you know surveillance means. You know, contacting them, letting them know where you are, particularly if you show up and you're waiting for any extended period of time. You know, they will do a lot of street theater. This lady come again. Hands in the face. Look at these two. They stop and look up at the window. Okay. Now they just stopped and started looking up at the window of the building. Yeah, I might have skipped past some police cars. But that's okay.
And I forgot to cough.
Okay.
Come on.
That was my daughter. She was crying. She had her tooth was hurting her. Okay, let's go. Yeah, like I said, I'm skipping a lot of stuff because you know, I want to get that particular part, but I want to show, you know, some of the targeting. All right. So you see, I want you guys to look at this store here, the shoe repair store, because this is where a lot of the perps are going to go into and going to come out. Okay. So you see this woman here covering her mouth as she walks up. She looks into the shoe repair store and then she covers her mouth. Right. She was covering her mouth. Now this is important because remember that guy in the first video, you know, with the red do rag covering his nose and his mouth. Okay, this is and I didn't recognize it at first until I started to review the video. I started to realize what they were doing. Okay. Alright, so these guys, you know what? I need to go back to the other video because okay, let's do that. Let's do this. Let's go back to about here. Gonna see some guys show up with a suitcase. Okay, so here they go. You show up with the suitcase. So this is what you call street dead and crowded. Except I'm in the car, they're inside. You start touching, playing with his hair. The other dude, the one that walked in, is walking in there now. You all work together. Okay, let's go back to this video. This is the video after that one. You know, he started putting his handbag in his back. Remember I talked about they put the handbag in the back, their palm facing towards me. Okay. Now he's pinching his jacket. Turns back to look at me.